Hello and welcome back to Heirs and Graces. I'd kind of assumed that Lord Chiron would eventually get bored and stop following me around, but unfortunately for me, he's proven to be more persistent than I'd previously imagined. Sure, he leaves me alone every once in a while when something else comes up, but more often than not, he's tailing me like a baby duck. Except he's not cute, so it's actually rather annoying rather than endearing. Still, if he's busy chasing me around the place, he's not bothering anyone else, I guess. If nothing else, I suppose I can consider that a positive. I let out a small sigh. I'll just have to deal with it. You've been sighing a lot. Whose fault do you think that is? Longing sigh, then. I do get that a lot. You know that's not what I meant. And just like that, he's gotten me flustered. Which is, of course, exactly what he wants. Running myself with that, I'm able to calm down a bit. But that calm only lasts for about a second before Lord Chiron goes and ruins it. You know, it's not as hopeless as you might think. I like men just as much as I like women. But what? Lord Chiron chuckles. I'm saying that I find you attractive. He's hitting on me. No, that's not right. It's not a question. He is hitting on me. He's actually hitting on me. Me, of all people. I blush brightly as I try to come up with some kind of response, something that, well, it isn't easy when your brain outright refuses to acknowledge the situation. It's too absurd. I mean, I thought I'd made it pretty clear I kind of despise him. For him to think that flirting with me is something that'd be alright is insane. I'm not proud of it, but it takes me another minute to figure out that Lord Chiron is probably only saying it to tease me. He wants to get me flustered or angry or whatever else, as long as it promises to be amusing. I cross my arms, considering I could yell at him. I actually kind of want to, but again, I think that's one of the reactions he's looking for. Might be better to play his game. Maybe I can turn this around on him. The more I consider this option, the more I realise I do want to give it a try. If I can turn this around, make him feel awkward, I'll consider it a victory. Close my eyes and focus for a second. It's been a while since I've had to act, but I'm not terrible at it. It's a skill I've relied on in the past. Granted, I've never used it for something like this, but I don't think it'd be particularly hard to play the part. You don't mean it. You just say those kind of things and mess with people, and I'm not attractive. You have to be lying. Lord Chiron strokes his chin, taking a moment to consider this reaction. I have to be careful not to be too out of character, or he'll notice something's off. Straighten up and look at him directly once more, eliminating that brief moment of faked vulnerability before Lord Chiron has enough time to figure out my gambit. You shouldn't say things you don't mean. You'll give people the wrong idea. Or maybe I'll give them the right one. Knock it off. It's not funny. You're actually not entirely opposed to the idea, are you? I never said that. You didn't have to. He grins smugly as if he's won some sort of great victory. Of course, I'm still leading him on. I'm not sure what I hope to achieve with this, but I feel like an opportunity to get back at him will present itself if I keep going. I turn away from Lord Chiron, pretending to be embarrassed. Look, it'll never happen. I admit you are... Take a deep breath to emphasize the difficulty of the upcoming revelation. Well, physically appealing. I admit I'm a bit fascinated with the fact you're an elf. Maybe I don't have any issues with you being male. I take a deep breath and turn back towards him, a sharper tone to my voice than before. However, your personality is absolutely horrid. And that's a problem? I take a step back. It is! I fumble the words so he'll think I'm not as adamant about them as I claim to be. I want him to pursue this. If he doesn't, I lose my chance to teach him a lesson about toying with people's feelings. Lord Chiron falls for it, taking a step forward and placing a hand on the wall behind me. His face is mere inches away from mine now, and for the first time I start to wonder if I should really be doing this. You know what I think? I didn't ask. I think you don't really care if I have a bad personality or not. I think you're just curious enough to go along with whatever I might try with you. That's... And before I can finish, he reaches for my cheek with his free hand and gently runs his fingertips along my skin. This is where I should mock him, tell him he's too full of himself. This is where I tell him I was just teasing him, the way he teased that girl. But I don't. Instead, I freeze in place. It's a stupid oversight, but I never expected him to touch me. And that's something I'm not sure how to react to. If he'd said something, I'm confident I could have thought of some kind of response, no matter where he chose to take it. But this... I'm out of my depth on this. Lord Chiron's face comes closer than ever, and I register that I have to do something now or let him have his way. I react instinctively and shove him away. perhaps a little more violently than is necessary. How dare you! Lord Chiron scratches the back of his neck, looking a bit confused. Sorry? I'm not exactly sure what I did wrong, though. You were going to kiss me. And that's bad? Yes! I didn't exactly get that impression earlier. That's because... Ugh. Look, I don't want to say it now, but if I don't, you might really get the impression he actually has a chance to seduce me. I glare at him and say the words I should have said earlier. I was trying to teach you a lesson. A lesson? About playing with people's feelings. You were leading me on. Yes? Lord Chiron strokes his chin thoughtfully. I'm a bit ashamed of myself. I did not notice at all. You don't like it, but you're actually pretty crafty. Instead of looking angry, he looks excited, like a kid that's just found an interesting new toy. Oh, this is definitely not the reaction I had in mind. But you messed it up at the end, huh? Froze up when I touched you. I bit my bottom lip to stare at the ground, a bit embarrassed. Still, I do go ahead and admit it. Yes. You really aren't good with romantic situations, are you? No. If I'd actually kissed you, would that have been your first kiss? Cross my arms and look at him defiantly. The answer is yes, but there's no way I'm letting him make me feel ashamed about that. So? Wow. I regret not being a little faster. I would have hit you. Yeah, it would have been worth it. Actually, all of this just makes me want to mess with you even more. I blush brightly. He cannot be serious. You're the worst. Lord Chiron chuckles and takes a step towards me. I don't think it's meant to be an aggressive move, but I'm a bit jumpy after what almost happened, and I automatically take a quick step backwards. When I do, I bump into a table behind me with considerable amount of force before I knock over a vase. My eyes go wide as it hits the ground and breaks into several pieces. Well, this isn't good. That was Lord Sandor's favourite vase. Yep, paying for that then. While this is a commendable attitude, I'm afraid you'll have to work for several years before your salary would cover the cost of that particular vase. And that doesn't even factor in its sentimental value. I'm fairly certain that Lord Sandor will demand some sort of compensation for that. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. What if Lord Chiron says it's true that there's not much I can do to make up for it? Lord Sandor didn't have a reason to fire me before. He has one now. All the things that could have gone wrong today, did it have to be this? To be fair, it could have been worse, given the background. When he said back up, I was half expecting to go tumbling over the balcony. While my brain goes into panic mode, Lord Chiron strokes his chin thoughtfully. Well, good luck, I suppose. That's not funny. No? Well, I guess it wouldn't be in your situation. Lord Chiron lets out a small sigh. Well, I guess this is partially my fault. I did startle you. I suppose I might be inclined to help. You'll help me. Why do I feel like the situation has suddenly gotten worse? For a price. That would be it. What do you want? Your first No. Oh, so cold. Deal with it. Fine, fine. I didn't really expect that to work anyway. Instead, on your next day off, I want you to become my personal servant for the day. Do whatever I say, and I'll pay for the vase myself. We won't make any outrageous requests. I'll behave. I kinda don't see how that's any different to what we've been doing. Unless maybe he asked me to be nice to him or something. Whatever, I don't really have much of a choice if I wanted to pay for the vase. So I guess I'm going along with this for now. If he asks something of me that I'm not willing to do, I guess I can refuse to do it then. I take a deep breath and open my mouth to agree to his terms when I hear Vincent's voice from behind me. The vase broke? Yes. I'm sorry, I hit the table and, well... I see. Well, mistakes happen. Just try to be more careful next time. I wait for Vincent to say more, but he doesn't. There has to be some mistake. Is that all you're going to say about it? You expected something different? I thought... Well, I'm not in trouble? No. Might have been a problem if it was a different vase, but... Well, Lord Sandor doesn't actually care what happens to this one. For one thing, it's a fake. For another, he got it from a relative he doesn't particularly care for, and... Well, to top it off, he simply doesn't like the design. I cross my arms, trying to keep a level head as my anger at a certain someone starts to rise. So you're telling me that that vase is completely worthless? I would not put it so harshly, but yes. I glare at Lord Chiron, willing him to drop dead on the spot. Lord Chiron responds with a careless shrug. I must have been thinking of a different vase. Anyway, everything is alright now. I'll go ahead and take my leave. Lord Chiron does exactly as he says. Which is probably a good thing, because the sooner he gets out of sight, the sooner I can start calming down. Much to my surprise, as soon as Lord Chiron is out of sight, Vincent's face suddenly looks more sour than mine. Marcel, did Lord Chiron tell you that the vase was very important to Lord Sandar, and there was no way you'd be able to afford to pay for it? That's exactly what he said. I see. Vincent lets out a sigh and crosses his arms. He gets rid of his irritated expression, but I can tell that the emotion is still there. He pulled that trick on me when I first met him. I guess that more than explains why Vincent dislikes him. And Vincent, he was probably roped into obeying Lord Chiron's commands. Really lucky that Vincent came by when he did. I'll talk to Lord Sandor about it, but it won't make a difference. Lord Chiron just does whatever he wants. Be careful, alright? It's dangerous to take that man seriously. Vincent turns to go, and I nearly let him, but I just have to ask. Vincent, when he pulled that trick with you, did he make advances? Advances? Yeah, like, did he try to kiss you? I am going to have a talk with Lord Sandor right now. This behaviour is unacceptable, even for Lord Chiron. Vincent storms off, leaving me behind. I guess I can take that as a no. Oh, I'll have a peep. Alright, yawning. As I said, long bloody weekend. Alright, let's keep going with our decorum. At least our reputation's starting to build a little bit. I pat one of the sheets hanging from a clothesline I set up a few hours earlier. Seems dry enough to me, so I pull it down and then fold it. I do the same with the rest of them until the clothesline has been completely cleared. That done, the next step is to take them up to the guest rooms, switch out the old sheets. It's kind of a shame, really. Today's a perfect day to spend outside. Still, I've got a job to do, so that it really isn't an option. I pick up the pile of sheets and head inside the mansion from the garden entrance. Would have been fast to use the main entrance, of course, but the less servant work our guests see, the better, according to Vincent. Of course, I still need to use the staircase in the main hall to reach the guest room, so I don't really see much point to it. Still, rules are rules, I guess. When I reach the main hall, I see Bourget and Vincent talking at the base of the stairs. I didn't think that Bourget had an appointment with Lord Sandor today, so it seems a bit odd. I need details, Vincent. How am I supposed to make any progress if you and Lord Sandor keep me in the dark? Bourget is using a sharp tone that I'm not used to hearing from him. He's still remaining civil, but, well, only just. I get the feeling that this is a conversation I really shouldn't interrupt. I hang back in the hallway, trying not to listen to them. They're not exactly being quiet, though. I have already made my apologies. It was a mistake, and that is all there is to it. Lord Sandar has already agreed to pay you for the time I have wasted asking you to come here. I don't care about that. I just want you to stop lying to my face and tell me about what is happening with Lord Sandor. He is dying, Vincent. I understand wanting to obey your employer's orders, but this is ridiculous. Vincent averts his eyes from Bourget, giving me the impression that he's uncomfortable. It is Lord Sandor's choice. I took too many liberties just calling you here today. I will not betray his trust further. Oh, that's really all you have to say? Yes. I see. Since this is going nowhere, I will take my leave for today. But Vincent, it is not betraying his trust really more important than his life. While it is true there is no guarantee I can save him, you are certainly putting me at a disadvantage. Think about it, please. Bourget turns and heads for the door, and he slams it a bit harder than normal on his way out. That could have gone better. Vincent sighs, and then heads for the hallway where I am. I don't have time to do anything about it before he sees me. Ah, Marcel. His face turns a little red. Guess it would be a little embarrassing to do too in this situation. Vincent didn't exactly come out of that conversation looking good. Seems you are quite talented at catching me at my worst. If I've really been seeing you at your worst, you have nothing to be ashamed of. Seriously, I've done a lot worse on some of my good days. That's... It's hard to tell, but I think his face just got a bit redder. Thank you. I don't exactly have a response prepared, so we both end up going quiet for a few seconds. I was still doing Vincent's voice there. I don't exactly have a response prepared, so we both end up going quiet for a few seconds. I return to the original subject before things get too awkward. Anyway, I'm sorry I eavesdropped on your conversation. I imagine we didn't make it terribly hard to do. Well, no, you didn't. Still, it wasn't right, so I apologise. It's fine. Another awkward silence passes between us, and this time Vincent is the one to break it. I should let you get back to work. Right. I move past Vincent and start towards the stairs, but before I get to them, Vincent speaks up again. Marcel, before you go do that, can I ask you a favour? A favour? Yes. What do you need? I'm not making any promises yet, but I'll hear you out. Well, I've been thinking about what you said. What I said? Huh? I don't remember what that could be. I mean, I don't recall telling Vincent anything particularly deep. You said that if I need help, I should ask for it. Okay, I do remember that. I did. Well, I was wondering... Look, it's okay to say no, but I thought I'd... He trails off and starts fidgeting as he tries to think over how he wants to phrase it. Let out a small sigh. Is it really that hard to ask for something? Knowing Vincent, it probably isn't anything big either. I can't help if I don't know what you need help with, Vincent. Right, of course. He takes a deep breath and stares at me with a set of determined eyes. I was wondering if you'd teach me how to make the soup you made for Lord Sandor. You want me to teach you how to make potato soup? Well, yes. After what happened, I want to be able to handle a situation on my own should something like that occur again. I want to learn how to cook some things that Lord Sandor would like to eat. Isn't that kind of pointless, though? I bit my lip, realising I'd spoken that thought aloud automatically. What do you mean? Well... Look, I guess I started it, so I might as well finish it. I don't want to waste time coming up with an alternative explanation for my outburst anyway. How many times do you expect something like that to happen? I mean, I suppose I don't expect it to happen again. Exactly. Everything had to go wrong for that situation to happen in the first place. Doubt it'll happen again anytime soon. Lord Sandor will probably be dead before that bit of information actually becomes useful. That sounded a bit harsher than it did in my head. I end up staring at the floor as I explain my point further. Well, I guess what I'm saying is it's kind of a waste of your time. I do realise there is a possibility. He bites his lip, a worried expression very visible on his face. Doesn't look like he's fully accepted the situation. I guess I can't blame him though. Without a named heir, it's impossible to know what'll happen to his job when Lord Sandor does die. He has to be nervous about at least that much. And that's just assuming he only cares about his situation. It's hard to tell with Vincent, but if he actually likes Lord Sandor on a personal level, his death would do even more damage than that. I don't think that's a good enough excuse not to learn. Once more, he looks at me with a surprisingly determined expression on his face. So please, teach me how to make it anyway. I sigh. I can't say no when he asks so earnestly. Besides, I'm the one who told him that if he wants help he should ask. So I should take some responsibility for that. Alright. I still don't see why it's such a big deal to you, but I'll teach you how to make it. Thank you. Oh, but we'd better make it clear, we'll be doing this in our off time. Should have been expecting that. There's no way Vincent would use the time he was being paid for to do things for himself. If that changes your answer, I would understand. No, it's fine. Actually, if I can impose a bit more, I'd like to request we pick a time when we won't be seen. I'd rather let the others know I'm not exactly competent in cooking. He's making a big deal out of nothing again. There aren't a lot of times like that. I know. I was hoping you'd be willing to get up early so we could use the kitchen before everyone else was up. I'm already getting up really early as it is. Getting up earlier isn't something I want to do. Still, it's probably just this once. Vincent picks things up quickly. Probably already has a lot of it down for the first time anyway. I guess I can still do it. Thank you. I know I'm asking for something unreasonable. It's not unreasonable, don't feel bad about asking. Sure, some of the conditions are a little inconvenient, but it's not like he's asking me to risk my life or anything. Anyway, let me know what you want to do it. Most days should work for me. In the meantime, I better get these sheets up to the guest rooms. Oh, of course. Sorry for holding you up. I get one step up the stairs when Vincent interrupts. Actually, why don't I help? I've wasted your time, it's only fair I make up for it. That's not necessary. I insist. I really don't need the help, and Vincent's time would be better spent elsewhere, but it sounds like he's not going to take no for an answer. Should I just let him help? Oh, let the man help. I guess it wouldn't hurt to just let him help. In any case, it's a lot easier to accept his offer than it is to reject it. He gets so stubborn over the stupidest of things. Alright, you can help. Vincent smiles slightly and then catches up where I'm at. I go ahead and hand over half the sheets in my pile and attempt to keep him from offering to carry them all himself. From there, we head up the stairs together. Do you want to split up the rooms or do you want to work on each of them together? Either way is fine. Guess that leaves the decision to me. Personally, I feel like it'd be faster just to split the rooms between us, work on them separately. But on the other hand, the work is bound to be funnier with someone to talk to. Why not? I could use this opportunity to get to know Vincent more. I shouldn't be obsessed about doing the task quickly. Let's stick together then. I'd rather work with you than by myself. Oh, okay. What's with the stutter? When I glance Vincent's way, I notice he's blushing a bit. Did my words make him a little happy? If that's the case, it's kind of cute. Well, it depends on the size of the sheets you're meant to be putting on the beds. If it's a double bed, doing the sheets yourself's a pain in the arse. It's much, much easier with assistance. Okay, we're at least starting to build our reputation a little bit. And yep, let's change that much charm shopkeepers. So let's keep on going. Week 8 of 34. I'm supposed to be making sure the books are all still in alphabetical order, but I find myself occasionally pulling out the ones with particularly interesting titles and flipping through them before returning them to their proper places. I wish I had more free time that I could dedicate to reading all of them. I rest my finger on the spine of a book with a dark green cover and think. If I do manage to impress Lord Sandor, then maybe one day I would have that time. He'd have to die first, though, and that thought sobers me. That's not what I want. I leave the book alone and get back to work. A few minutes later, Vincent comes in. I know the drill by now, so I head him off. Do you need me somewhere else? Yes, that's right. I just finished speaking with Lord Sandor. He requested that you be the one to take him his meal today. I bite my lip, wanting to refuse. Of course, I can't really do that. Lord Sandor says he wants me to do something. As his servant, I'm not exactly in a position to do otherwise. I'm about to ask Vincent if he knows why. And then I remember I'm talking to Vincent. He wouldn't have asked, and even if he did, he wouldn't answer unless Lord Sandor gave him express permission to do so. Anyway, I think I know why he wants to see me. My actions during that dinner with Lord Chiron haven't exactly been acknowledged yet. I'd prefer it if they were never acknowledged, but that's not the way the world works. Alright. There's really no other answer I can give. Is it ready now, or are you telling me this for later? Well, the short answer is no, it's not. The cook should be able to prepare something fairly quickly, though. You just need to talk to him when you're ready. Lord Sandor didn't specify a time for his dinner, but I think the sooner you see him, the better. Okay, I'll go see the cook now, then. Vincent nods and heads off to his next task, and I head to the kitchen. I talk to the cook and then wait around for a bit as he works on putting Lord Sandor's meal together. Today's dish is another soup. Makes sense now that I know he's sick. It'll be hard for him to get down much else. Of course, the cook had prepared something more elaborate dishes when Sandor was dining with Chiron. Guess that was more for Lord Chiron's sake, though. He's been staying with us here at the mansion, but they haven't eaten together since. Now that Lord Sandor's secret is out, I suppose he doesn't need to make the effort to pretend that everything is alright, that he's not dying. I let out a sigh and lean against the wall. I really don't want to see him right now. Some time had passed since I learned the fact, but I still don't know how I feel about it. On the one hand, I feel sorry for him. On the other, well, I hate him. He doesn't care about my mother. He doesn't care about me. Why should I care if he's dying? I have to stop thinking about it. I keep telling myself that I don't care. I might eventually believe it. At least I hope so. The cook finishes up and scoops some of the soup into a bowl before placing it on a tray and handing it to me. Guess that's all I have. Guess that's all the time I have to sulk. That's probably a good thing. I take the tray from him and head upstairs towards Lord Sandor's room. I knock on the door and he answers. "Come in!" His voice is hoarse, as if he's just finished one of his coughing fits. I'm kind of glad I wasn't there to witness it this time. It's one thing I know is happening, but to actually be there during the moment is another thing entirely. I open the door and head inside. Lord Sandor is lying in bed, a book at his side. His gaze is fixed on me as I approach his nightstand and set the tray down. I wait for a moment for him to say something, but all he does is look at me. It's unnerving and I want nothing more than to run away. Still, etiquette check. Excellent. I bow slightly and wait for him to address me, making sure to give him my full attention. I won't let him intimidate me. Lord Sandor holds the silence for another long moment and then relaxes slightly. "Well, you're certainly more composed than you were at that dinner I had with Eloy." That's a topic I'd really rather not recall, and I believe Lord Sandor knows it. I keep my calm and treat this as a test. If I'm going to win this little game, I have to pretend that nothing he says or does bothers me. "Yes, your lordship." And that's all you have to say on the matter. "I can elaborate if you wish, your lordship." "All right, enough of this your lordship crap. I understand I asked you to learn etiquette, but I want to have a conversation with you person to person, not master to servant." I hesitate, not sure if this is his way of testing my resolve or not. Then logic kicks in and I decide that probably isn't the case, and I go ahead and drop the formalities for the time being. "Fine. Anyway, I should have summoned you earlier, but it's hard. I don't exactly like talking about this illness of mine, but I suppose you have the right to know. I don't need to know. It's your business, not mine." I say it quickly. I don't want to know. That much I'm sure is true. Knowing would make it more personal. I don't want to become more invested than I already am. I distance myself even more by adopting a hollow tone. "I don't care what happens to you." Lord Sandor goes quiet for a moment, and for a second I think that maybe my words actually hurt him. Then he continues in his usual tone as if he hadn't missed a beat. "I suppose that's fair. Then I guess the short version will do. If for some reason you decide you do care, you can talk to the doctor later. It's probably better anyway. Some of the things you rambled on about were over my head. Point is, I'm dying, and it'll happen soon." "How soon?" "Wondering how much time you have to win me over, are you?" "Something like that." "Most of the doctors I've spoken to think it'll be within a year. Then again, what do they know? They can't even figure out a cure. But it might be better if something happens sooner rather than later. I feel horrible enough already, and it gets worse by the day. Dr. Borgia can only help and can only do so much. It might be nice just to get it over with." "Stop that. It's not funny." "I wasn't trying to be funny. I'm serious." "Well, stop it anyway. The longer you live, the longer Dr. Borgia has to figure out how to save you, so don't talk about dying like it means nothing." "I thought you said you didn't care." "I don't, but that doesn't mean I can't tell you you're being stupid when you're being stupid." "Easy for you to say. You're not the one who's sick." "No, I'm not. That doesn't mean I'm wrong. You owe it to the people who care about you to keep trying." Lord Sandor laughs bitterly. "And just who cares about me, Marcel? You? You've explicitly stated that you don't. Your mother cared once, but I betrayed her. Any love she had for me is dead by now, replaced by a bitterness that I put there. Nobody will care for me when I am dead and gone. It's a truth I have come to accept. I can name 3. 3? Very funny. I don't suppose you have names for these 3 imaginary friends of mine. Vincent, Kamal, Lord Chiron. Lord Sandor frowns, his expression thoughtful. I know that I brought these people up that he hadn't considered. I might not be particularly close to him, but I'm positive each of them cares about him in their own way. I think that Lord Chiron was genuinely concerned when he asked about your health, and earlier implied that Vincent has been here for a long time, and you said that Kamal has stayed with you too. If they didn't care about you at all, they would have moved on. I hear your usual servants are rather good at that. Just don't sit there and wallow in self-pity as if you have nothing. 3 is plenty, even if you don't realise that. Right, I'm going to call this part here, say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.